You're most welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed and I'm 10 years old. I'm from Westminster School. And my question is, why has Allah challenged Shaitan and given him this chance to misguide us when Allah knew the nature of his creation as human being, that we would be carried away? Then why didn't he just finish Shaitan at that time?
The young lad has asked a very good question, that why did Allah challenge Shaitan and give him a chance to entice the human being? Why doesn't he finish him and completely? My dear son, it is not Allah who challenged the Shaitan, it is the Shaitan who challenged Allah. It's the opposite. Iblis was one of the best jinns. He was very pious, but arrogance took the better of him. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him to bow down to Adam, he said, why should I bow down to a person who's created from mud when I was created from light? From fire, sorry. The jinns were created from fire. So he was arrogant. He was very obedient initially. He was very pious. He was one of the best among the jinns, that he was kept among the angels. But when Allah asked him to bow down to Adam, he did not bow down because he was arrogant. And then he asked for respite. When Allah wanted to punish him, he said that give me respite. Respite means delay the punishment. And I will take your people away from you. So Allah says, I give you respite. He challenges Allah that delay my punishment. And if you delay my punishment, I will misguide your people. So then Allah tells him, I delay a punishment, I give you respite till the day of judgment. And you will never be able to entice or misguide those moments, those Muslims who are true on my part. But those who are not true Muslims, who are not obedient to me, you will misguide them. So when Allah has given him the chance till the day of judgment, Allah has delayed his punishment. So how can he finish him now? Once Allah gives his word, he cannot go back on his word. Correct? Allah is truthful. So it is the Shaitan, Iblis, who challenged Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Give me respite. Delay my punishment and I will misguide your followers. So Allah gave him time. Okay, I will not finish you. I will give you a punishment after the day of judgment. And you will never be able to misguide those believers, those human beings who are my followers. Those who are not my followers, you will be able to misguide. So this is a test for us for the hereafter. And for the human beings, we come in this world as a test for the hereafter. Those who believe the Quran and the Sahih Hadith, we will be successful in the test and go to Jannah. Those who don't follow Quran and Sunnah, we will not be successful and we won't go to Jannah.
A news reporter asked me that was I shocked at reading the news that came in headlines in most of the Indian newspaper that one of the terrorists who did the attack in Dhaka in Bangladesh was inspired by me. And I replied that there are two angles to it. Regarding me being shocked that a Bangladeshi was inspired by me, I would say no, I wasn't shocked. Because I appear on various different satellite channels. And in Peace TV network alone, there is a viewership of more than 100 million. And alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I inspire millions of people throughout the world. And the point to be noted is that on my personal Facebook alone, there are more than 14 million likes, out of which even I was shocked when I learned that 4 million, more than 27% of the likes are from Bangladesh. The maximum in any country in the world is from Bangladesh. And 4 million from Bangladesh, a country where majority don't speak English, and giving likes on my Facebook is astonishing. I was shocked. And the report says that more than 90% of the people in Bangladesh, they know me, and more than 50% of them are my fans. So if a person is inspired by my videos, it's not shocking. And we see that there are millions of people, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, that are inspired by my video and they come closer to Islam. And just because a person knows a personality who's famous and a celebrity, you cannot attribute every act of that person to the personality he is a follower of. Yes, I do agree that I inspire hundreds of thousands and millions of people close to Islam. But every fan of mine may not follow everything what I say. Once a person comes closer to Islam, there are possibilities that he starts hearing other speakers. And today, as we are aware of, there are some people who misguide the Muslims. And in the name of Islam, they encourage them to kill innocent people, innocent human beings, which is totally against the Quran. If you hear my talk, you will never ever find in any of my talks where I have condoned terrorism or killing an innocent human being. So the second part of the information that was given in the Indian newspapers was giving an indication that I inspired this act of killing innocent people, which I totally disagree. I've been giving lectures for more than 25 years. There is not a single talk of mine where I've ever encouraged any human being to kill any other innocent human being, whether Muslim or non-Muslim. And I say this in my talk, it's against the Quran, in Surah Ma'idah chapter 5 verse number 32. So this evil act of the Indian media trying to prove to the people or trying to give an indication that Dr. Zakir Naik is encouraging terrorism is devilish. I totally disagree with it, and I condemn these media which are trying to prove that I am encouraging acts of terrorism. Yes, I have heard in the news media as well as in several news channels that they are misquoting. They are quoting sentences from my speech which are half, which are midway, without context, and trying to give a view to the Indians that I am a person who promotes terrorism. I'm totally against terrorism. I condemn all acts of terrorism, including killing innocent human beings. Killing innocent human being is the second major sin in Islam. And Islam and Quran, as well as myself, is totally against all acts of terrorism, including killing innocent human beings. This is Dr. Zakir Naik from the holy city of Makkah on the 1st of Shawwal, wishing all the people a happy and prosperous Eid. Taqabbal Allah minna minkum. May Allah accept the good deeds, prayers, sacrifice and du'as from us and from you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Haya and I just have one question for you tonight. Islam is a religion of peace and freedom of thought and freedom of speech. So why in the Quran does it say that if a Muslim who is born a Muslim should be punished by death if he chooses not to follow the religion anymore?
Sister, you said the Quran says that a person who's born as a Muslim and he changes his religion, he's put to death. Sister, I don't know of any verse in the Quran. You point out in the Quran, there's no such verse in the Quran talking about that a person who is a Muslim and then who changes his faith, he should be put to death. But there are certain rulings. But if you go back to the history, the seerah of the Prophet, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we know that when the Prophet went to Medina, there was one Sahaba who came and said that when the Prophet said, go and kill these kafirs, they're causing problems, they are the enemies. So one of the Sahaba said that please forgive my brother. And the Prophet didn't kill him. And later on that person accepted Islam. So it's not a general rule that any person who's a Muslim who becomes a murtad, he has to be put to death. The ruling is if a person who is a Muslim, who becomes a murtad, who changes his faith and propagates against the religion of Islam, then the penalty is death. And this is in most of the countries. For example, if in the country of India, there's a citizen of India who shares the secret prints of the Indian army with the enemy, the Indian law will say he should be put to death or life imprisonment. This is the same law in America, same in UK for apostasy. The same law that is there that if you sell some secret of the country, either death penalty or life imprisonment. So in Islam, it is not a normal ruling that a person who is a Muslim, when he becomes a non-Muslim, he should be put to death. Only if he propagates against Islam and conspires against Islam, then is the ruling of death, sister. Hope that answers the question, sister.
Thank you so much. Yes, you did.
You're most welcome, sister.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because I'm happy. I'm a Muslim, that's what makes me happy, and that's the truth.
Malaysia is a multiracial and multi-religious country. So if the hudud law were to be implemented, how should we do it?
The brother asked a question that Malaysia is a multiracial country. If hudud law has to be applied, how should it be applied? Brother, I don't know the constitution of Malaysia. I'm just a traveler. What Islam says, I can tell you. Malaysia, I'm not the right person to have asked. Quran says, Fas'alu ahli zikri in kuntum la ta'lamun. Ask the person who is expert. I'm not expert in Malaysian law. I have not studied the constitution of Malaysia. So I will not know what does Malaysia say. I can say, what does Quran say? Quran has given capital punishment for certain crimes. That I can comment on. For example, if someone commits rape, in Islam, it's capital punishment. People may say, oh, capital punishment in this age of science and technology, Islam is a barbaric religion, merciless religion. I normally say, and I've asked this question to many non-Muslims, thousands of them. If God forbid, someone rapes your mother, and if the rapist is brought in front of you, and if you are made the judge, what punishment will you give that rapist? Brother, God forbid somebody rapes your mother, and if the rapist is brought in front of you, what punishment will you give him? Brother?
Capital punishment.
Capital punishment, correct. So when I asked this question to non-Muslims, 100% gave the same reply. So when someone rapes your mother, you want to give capital punishment. When somebody rapes somebody else's mother, you say capital punishment is wrong. So in Islam, for certain crimes which involve fasad, corruption in the world, in this life, there is capital punishment. And I'm asking you the question, that before capital punishment, there's a rule called hijab in Islam, that the woman should be properly dressed up in hijab. The man, when he looks at a woman, he should lower his gaze. Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 30 and 31. So in Islam, the woman should be dressed up modestly with hijab, and a man should lower his gaze. After that, if anyone rapes, capital punishment. I'm asking you the question today, you know America. People look up to America as the most advanced country in the world. Do you know the maximum rapes in any country in the world? It is USA, America. According to statistics of 1990 FBI report, every day on an average 1,756 rapes took place. According to statistics of 1996, US Department of Justice, every day 2,713 cases of rape took place. That means every 32 seconds, one rape is taking place. You know, we are in this auditorium for the past 3.5 hours. Already 350 rapes may have taken place in USA since the time we are here. Since the time we are here in this auditorium, 350 rapes may have taken place in USA. I'm asking you the question that if we implement the Islamic Sharia in USA, that every lady should wear the hijab, the man should lower his gaze. After that, anyone rapes a woman, capital punishment, death penalty. I'm asking you the question, will the rate of rape in America, USA, will it increase? Will it remain the same or will it decrease? Brother?
Decrease.
Decrease, correct. You implement the Sharia, you get results. That's the reason certain times you have to give capital punishment. You have to implement the hudud. And if you implement in any country in the world, believe me, the crime will come down. That's the reason I say Islam is the best way of life. That's the reason the least rate of rape in any country in the world, it's in Saudi Arabia where this law is practiced. I don't know what law is practiced in Malaysia, but if you implement this law in Malaysia also, inshallah the rate of rape will come down.
Thank you.
Let me tell you about my happiness. I get my happiness from Islam. It makes me kind and a better human.